What is going on, everybody? Today, I just wanted to do a little price action review on NQ as well as some of the entries I took. I took short entries today, and I think a lot of people were caught offsides thinking that we were going to have higher prices today. But anyways, I'll put the P&Ls on the screen here. Without further ado, let's jump right into the analysis. So the first thing I want to note on the weekly time frame is that we had this kind of low hanging fruit target, right? We had this buy side liquidity. And I think a lot of traders were kind of looking for Friday to trade up into this area. But I want to go into detail as to why I thought that wasn't going to happen on Friday, right? So dropping down to the daily time frame, what I noticed is that Wednesday, we actually had FOMC, right? We took out sell side liquidity, traded into this fair value gap here, and then we actually took out this daily high right here. Now, after we took out that daily high, we kind of closed back in the range, right? And this kind of indicated to me that maybe we just wanted to have an inside bar day or like a consolidation day, especially if after we had a big expansion day like this, right? We had FOMC and then another expansion day to the upside, right? So if I wanted to see this buy side liquidity or this weekly high being taken, right, I would have wanted to see price close above this daily high, maybe retest and continue bullish. But the fact that we closed back in the range just kind of indicated to me that Friday was going to be like a consolidation day, right? So dropping down to the 4 hour, what I notice is kind of the same thing, right? We had a sweep of this daily high, and then we closed back in the range yesterday. But what I did notice on the 4 hour time frame is that we started to build up a little bit of low resistance liquidity, right? So I'm going to mark this out so we can see it on the lower time frames because it becomes a little bit more apparent. So I had this low resistance liquidity marked out because we have this low, and price is kind of just like trading in this consolidation area, like a wedge pattern, if you will, right? But obviously closing below the daily high. So with this low resistance liquidity built up, we can go down to the hourly time frame and we could start to see things a little bit more clearly, right? So right at 12 a.m. midnight open, we started trading a little higher, right? And we noticed that there was a lot of consolidation during London session, right? So I'll mark this out here. We have London consolidation, right? Price didn't really do much during London session. We had a little bit of movement during Asia. And what happened around 7:30 a.m. is we had a liquidity sweep to both sides, and we kind of closed as an indecision candle here. Now, what this was kind of telling me is that price really didn't have a clear direction, but it was engineering liquidity, right? So we swept the high side of the range and we swept the low side. So coming into 9:30 open, what we noticed on the lower time frames, right, we had a lot of chop right at the open, right? Price didn't really know what it was going to do right at the open until about 10 o'clock. And what this was doing was the market was actually engineering a lot of liquidity, right? So actually what I want to do is mark out this Asian low. Got this Asia low. All right, and then we'll mark out this sell side liquidity. Okay, so we have that marked out. These were kind of my targets in mind if we were going to trade down to the downside, right? We have this low hanging fruit and this Asia low that has not been taken yet. Now, I didn't see price trading down into Thursday's low just because I expected, like I said, Friday to be kind of a small range day after we had a large range day. And that's typically how the market moves, right? You'll have a large expansion day or one or two large expansion days into a consolidation day, and so being that it was Friday and we already had major news events for the week, I wasn't expecting a lot of movement for today. So moving down to the execution time frame, you can see that I kept it pretty simple, right? So right around 9:45 is when I took my first entry here, and I gave myself a pretty hefty stop loss, right? So what I was doing is I was targeting these Asia lows, and I gave myself a 400 tick stop just to be kind of safe, right? So I was putting my stop loss above the standard deviation. My thought process was, I wanted to be safe on Friday. And if we started trading above this high, then I would close my trade early for a small loss and just call it a week because I was already green for the week. I didn't need to push it that much harder. However, my bias started to play out and I could see that price started spooling towards this sell side liquidity. We had the 10-15 candle and also the 10-20 candle kind of spooling towards the sell side liquidity. I treated this fair value gap that happens right here as a breakaway gap. And what I expected was this Asia low to be taken with speed since we had a lot of liquidity that was built up right at the open. So what I did was I took my second entry here and I made sure I trailed my stops just like this. So I have my initial risk amount. And then what I ended up doing was I took profit at sell side liquidity. And you can see 10 minutes later, we actually hit the Asia low as well. So I think, a lot of traders definitely got suckered into buys here, expecting another large range day. But I think that is a target left for maybe next week. I think next week we might see price trade down a little bit, maybe take out Thursday's low and continue higher. Anyways, that's my price action review. If you guys want to see me live trade like this every single day, I have a Discord link in my bio. Just click it and I'll see you guys in there.